I grew up in Butler County, Ohio, Hamilton, Ohio. Uh, kind of lived half my life there and the other half in Cincinnati. I guess everything started when I was at a young age of 14. My mom used to bar hop, so I remember as a younger guy, her bringing home different guys and just different types of attitudes and always arguing and fighting around the house and drug use and alcohol. Um, the first thing that I really got into was drinking. So I had my first beer when I was 14. It was Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR. Uh, they would gamble all the time. My mom would they would have these card games, and I'd be the one going to fetch beer and blah blah blah, etc. Uh, I did notice occasionally they would snort cocaine back then. It was a thing that everybody did, but secretly. Um, so I started like doing drugs when I was young. I went through a lot of dysfunctional stuff at home. Ended up just running away a lot. Just didn't like being at home. I had a lot of stuff taken out on me. I had a lot of things happen to me. Being left with different people babysat me as a kid. Some things happened to me that it wasn't my fault. Um, but I had a lot of that holding me down and wanting to. The only way I knew how to deal with all of this was watching everybody else use drugs, get high, and drink. So I ended up doing the same thing that was going on that I was watching going on around me, and I got into using drugs and getting high and drinking. And then as the drugs started progressing, so did my drug habit started progressing. I got in a lot of trouble growing up, um, running away from home, being homeless on the streets. As I got older, I was like, I mean, there's so much that I struggled with, and as a kid that it's crazy. But um, the thing that I guess hurt me the most was when I started doing hardcore drugs like crack cocaine. I found myself uh, with a heavy drug problem when I was in junior high school. I had a bunch of kids chasing me around the neighborhood, calling me a crackhead because I was on crack and I was just a teenager on crack. Skipping school, running from the law. I got started stealing, ended up in juvenile for breaking and entering and stealing and stuff to get my drugs. My stepdad, that my mom was with at the time, had me stealing, and they would take me out to go steal. I was really good at it, and so I had a lot of people use me for that, and would bird feed me on giving me drugs because they wanted to keep me around to keep it going. Um, so I guess when I started doing things on my own and getting my own feet wet, I ended up in Cincinnati, downtown area, back in 99, 98. Uh, and I got stuck in a big city, and I'm from a small town, on the streets, homeless, smoking crack, no shoes on my feet, running around all hours of the night, uh, living on the streets, sleeping on vents to keep warm during the winter. Um, not Nobody in my family really cared anything about where I was at. They had their own problems dealing with their own drugs and demons. So I was kind of out on my own. Um, Went through a lot, got beat up, stabbed. I've been in and out of prisons, jail, my whole life. I've got over 20 years in prison. Got 6 penitentiary numbers. Uh, like I just been through a lot, and um, there's just so much that I wish that I could get into. It's just a lot for me to open up to it, but like I witnessed a lot of things going on. I've watched people die, OD, get shot. I've been shot, got stabbed. I've been through a lot, and but when I came up here uh, to get clean and sober a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I ended up in a nursing home. What happened was I ended up in a nursing home. I caught endocarditis for the second time. They had me in a nursing home, putting IVs in me, and while I was in the nursing home, I caught COVID. And from a nurse that was doing my IV, she came out of the COVID unit, ended up giving me COVID. I almost died. They had me on a machine for 4 days. And all I could do was just stay awake. I didn't want to close my eyes because I heard a doctor say, hey, if he closes his eyes, he ain't making it. They couldn't believe I lasted that long with everything I had going on with me. So I just prayed. I was like, God, please, I don't want to die. There's so much more I want to live for. Like, I got a kid, son, everything. But after that nursing home, I ran into somebody. God answered my prayers, man. I was able to get off the machine. A lady was going around doing some assessments with people to get them into this program called the Coach. And I've never done programs before my whole entire life. I always just went to prison, did my time, got out. So I figured, I needed a change, so I wanted it bad enough. So I said, I'll give it a shot. God gave me a shot, man. Gave me another chance. There was a doctor there that was in a ministry and asked me if I believed in Jesus, and I said yeah. And he said a prayer with me, and he said God's going to have big plans for me, and I just need to hang in there and have faith. He's going to use me, and I didn't see it then, but so from that nursing home, I ended up coming up here to Xenia. I needed to get away from Hamilton. I couldn't make it down there. Nothing was ever going to good for me down there, so I came up here. I ended up getting into this program called the Coach. Started getting myself together, being put on medication to help me get off of everything, keep me at bay from using. I was on a really good path. I was learning how to stay clean. I was learning about self-care, and I was just learning how to trust people again. So I was getting ready to graduate from this program called the Coach, and I get a phone call 3 days before I graduated, and it was a family member reaching out telling me that I lost my mom. And so I, I got stressed out. As soon as I heard the news, I ran straight to my room where they had me at, locked myself in the bathroom, and was crying. And I think I stayed in there for a while. But eventually I came out, and I had some people there that talked to me and got me through it. 3 days later, I got out, graduated from the program, and I was going through Clark State University. Got enrolled to get my peer support. J.J. Peck was our professor, and during that time, I had a moment of weakness and I relapsed. So further on down the road after I got out of that, and I had moments of weakness and I relapsed, and I ended up going to the Christopher House as my second attempt. I didn't want to leave here. I didn't want to go back to Hamilton. It was only one night that I slept up, although it wasn't my drug of choice, but it was a drug. And I knew where I was going to go if I kept going on with it. So I got myself into another treatment program. Christopher House was an intense treatment program. They help you. It was a whole different level of treatment. And part of their program is to reach out into the community, get you a mentor, a sponsor, and build a support system. I learned how to do that there, and I ran into a guy named Randy going out to meetings and stuff, and he ended up going to church, and I started hanging out with him a lot, going to church and learning about God. And I've always known about God, but I never applied it to my life. That was the one ingredient that I've never tried to do, was live spiritually and live for God. You know what I mean? I never done that. And I started to learn how to do that and how to serve God through going to church and being around other people who serve God. And the more I did that, the more good things started happening in my life. I ended up getting a job here. Uh, I have a lot of support here. There's a lot of good people I not only consider my friend but family, and God has built me a whole new life up here, man. And like, He saved me going to church, me getting to know God has changed my life so dramatically in such a short period of time. Within 3 years, I've managed to stay clean. Or 2 years after I'd relapsed, I managed to stay clean, sober. I got married. I got a son that's just turned 1. And I'm about to have a little girl in 2 more months. And God has just gave me this whole new family. And all I do is worship Him. I give Him all the glory. I plant seeds in other people. I try to share my experiences and things that I've been through, because there ain't too many people that can come in front of me and be like, hey, you don't understand, because I do. I've been homeless. I've lived on the streets. I've shot dope. I've been barefooted, walking around in dark areas and neighborhoods where I've people just, it's really bad. You know what I mean? I've watched people OD, die during the broad daylight, get robbed in broad daylight. I've had my jaw broken, shattered, nose broken 9 times, stabbed, shot. I mean, I've been through the mud, and God's been there my whole life, and He's had His hands on me my whole life, and now I know why. After I got to know God and everything, I had this great sense of worth. You know what I mean? Like, I mean something, and I'm a part of something. I'm a part of uh, a ministry that helps other people. It gives me a sense of purpose, a reason to live, and I get to give back. And I've been forgiven. You know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing. Words can't even express to you what God has done for me in my life, and where I was at, and what I have came from, and where I'm at today. It's like only He can do that, man. There, there's no question about it. Like, I know that He is real, and I know God is real, because I'm living proof that I'm living proof that He's real, because every day that I'm able to do anything for anyone is because of Him, and He gives me the strength, the courage, the knowledge. And not everything's perfect all the time, but I know that I can trust that everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I made it this far. Everything's going to be okay. There's a lot of things that I have done in my life that I wish I hadn't, but I understand now that I went through a lot. But I was given so much mercy and grace, and I had somebody there the whole time looking out for me. And now I understand why I'm still here, and what I need to do, and what I'm going to continue doing, and keep standing on my own feet and doing what God wants me to do. And I guess that's where I'm at, just working for Him, and living the dream, man, And I'm gonna spend the rest of my days serving Him, and bringing people to Him, and trying to help others, and save them, help God help save them like He saved me. You know what I mean?